This is the Battle of Shiloh on Legendary difficulty. The Allied troops bring 24,600 men, and when I combine my men with that, it's 44,211 and 103 guns. Quite a force. I think this is the largest force I've seen on YouTube. I've watched everybody else play this battle, and nobody else has, to my mind, brought 20 units and enters the battle with 44,000 men. But this was my goal, and everybody has a star. So, and good weapons. Everybody has rifles except for the green troops. So my goal is to have a large maneuver force on the right side of this map for when the map opens. So my named brigades my intent is that they stay out of the battle, and then when the map opens, they go around the enemy flank and go to the objective, and a large maneuver element goes around the enemy flank, cuts it off, and then at the appropriate time moves north and sets up a defensive line waiting for the counterattack that comes on the Confederate left. So that's the plan here. So you'll see me stack up units on the right side, and it might not make any sense, but that's why. So I want to stay with, want to keep my artillery kind of within range of my infantry, giving what support it can. Confederate artillery is much weaker than Union artillery. I don't have a lot of it, so I need to make use of the batteries that I do have. And three of the batteries are close range guns, and the Tredegar's are mid-range and pretty terrible. So the enemy is going to come in with about 65,000 on the first day. So that's good. I'm very happy with that. And yeah, we're just going to keep rolling north right over top of him. Keep rolling up the artillery. I should roll up my commander, and I have a real problem in this battle with my supply wagon and my commander. And yeah, I don't know why. I think it's because I capture a supply wagon, the Allied troops have a supply wagon, I get confused. I think my supply wagon is empty when it's not. It's just, I screw it up. I mean, it's just such a beginner mistake, is to screw up. Forget where your commander is and where your supply wagon is, and yeah, complete amateurish move. So that's the one mistake I make in this battle. And it's a big one. I mean, screwing up where you put the commander is a big deal. Fortunately, the morale of my army is never the problem. The enemy is the one who has the problem with morale, because his army gets hammered from the beginning. This battle was much easier than I thought it was going to be. I guess the difficulty depends on how the enemy reacts to what you're doing. Apparently, the AI was either confused or didn't like what I was doing. So yeah, he never really does anything effective. I keep executing my plan, and he keeps just being on the receiving end of my plan, that's how I like to play. I'm going to implement my plan, and the enemy is going to watch me implement my plan. And the enemy is going to do nothing. And that's pretty much this battle. My Allied troops take a lot of losses. My goal is for them to get into the fighting and to mix it up, and they do. And they do a great job on, and part of that is luck, that the enemy retreats in the way you want them to. So what I'm trying to do here is, the units seem to do much better if they don't walk on top of each other. So I kind of edited it out where I gave instructions. I don't want, if you tell a group of units to move, they'll all move as fast as the slowest unit. So I told them individually to move, so they'd each individually move as fast as they could, depending on the terrain they were facing. So, and also I gave them a path that they wouldn't walk on top of each other and move slower, because if they walk on top of each other, they just move slower and they burn up condition. So, yeah, that should be fine. Now, I'm just waiting on the rest of my army to come up. And I'm trying to keep, like, the Stonewall as much as possible out of this. I want my best troops to be as fresh as possible for the maneuver portion of this battle. So, just moving up, waiting for the artillery, just waiting. And the enemy seems to have created a hole on his flank. I was going to wait until I crossed the river, but doesn't seem to be anything over there. So we're just going to see if we can sneak across the river and on the enemy's far flank. And look at that, he's already given up. He's been hit with a few detached skirmishers and he's given up. So the Tredegar's there. Maybe he didn't like the Tredegar. I know he didn't like the detached skirmishers, so... But all we're doing is getting his attention. We're just... And you know, a large part of every battle in the early 1800s, every Napoleonic battle, they spent hours with skirmishers shooting at each other, looking for weaknesses in the line, gathering information. And then it took a while to figure out where you wanted to hit the enemy line, where the weakness was, and then to mobilize the troops and get them maneuvered there and in attack formation. It would take hours sometimes. And, you know, you look at some of Longstreet's attacks where he, you know, just rolled up the enemy position. It would take him a couple hours to get everybody in. I mean, it's hard to do to get a bunch of people where they need to be. I know, I've done it in real life. It takes a while. And so people would spend a lot of time doing this. And so you have to think in terms of maneuver and getting a mass of troops where you want them. And yeah, all that takes time. You can't be in a hurry. And you know, the thing is, I can't just blast my way through the enemy position. I don't have Union artillery to do this. So, you know, I'm not going to roll up 12 24-pound howitzers and blow a hole in the enemy line like I could do if I was the North. I have to outmaneuver the enemy. And that's what we're trying to do. And the other thing that I want to do that works perfectly in this battle is not trip the flags. There's only one flag that I trip that I don't intend to, and that's the Harrison's Landing, the final victory location. That has a range on it that must be the size of Georgia, and the state, Georgia. And but all of the other victory locations, I don't want to trip because I need time to get my troops either into position, or the troops that have been moving, they need time to rest. And if I say, go across this river and take that victory location right there, the phase will end. And my infantry units are, you know, they're still moving. I mean, half of my army is still getting into position right now. And you could end this phase, like right now, if you wanted to, I guess, if you were really aggressive. But that's not what I want. I want to get these units up. The other thing that's really surprising to me is the troops that just walked the length of this battlefield. They're not exhausted. This is definitely not the Union Army. I can't believe these guys have like 100% condition and they just walked. Like normally, Union Army, particularly green troops that you just brought into battle, they'd walk that distance, you have to stop and wait and have them recover condition, and then launch the attack after they recovered. I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, these guys, the Confederate Army can walk all day and, you know, fight. It's just, it is completely a different game. Yeah, you try to do this with the Union Army, it would be a much, much different result. Okay, this guy, to my surprise, he gave up. Yeah, I was rolling in detached skirmishers to fire at him, infantry. Yeah, my goal is for just basically to wear him out, not to wipe him out, not to get in melee, just... and I want my reinforcement units that came in with 42s to do the fighting. Notice how I had the Stonewall Brigade and the Iron Brigade and the Irish Brigade should be falling back and just resting. I want them to fight as little as possible right now. They have a long march ahead of them when the map opens up, and that's what I want them to do. That is quite a force. I went over there to his right flank, and there was just nothing there, so I just amassed a huge force. Yeah, his position has been not impressive so far. I guess my Tredigers are in range. They should be mid-range, I guess. The 6-pounders are close enough. Yeah, was that exploding shell? I don't think I paid attention during the battle, but he might be a little far back. I don't know. I'm not real familiar with that weapon. So, but what I do know about this weapon is really unimpressive. 24-pound howitzers need to get up. And my good units are in reserve, supporting the advance. So that's good. Yeah, we're going to get some shots on his artillery. Some shots on his cav. That's good. Yeah, let's see if we can bait that infantry unit into charging forward. I have a nice defensive line waiting for you, Mr. Infantry Unit. Oh yeah, his guys are around the victory location. They are seriously in trouble. Yeah, bud, you need to rethink your position. Yeah, we're just going to stay in good cover and fire at these guys until they get tired of getting shot. So he has more reinforcements coming. That's good. Yeah, I'd very much like for him to attack. Oh yeah, the 24-pound howitzer is about to get up and play. And fire... Yeah, that guy in the fortified position, he's going to take fire from 3 sides and 24-pound howitzer. Yeah, he lasted like no time. Yeah, his infantry finally advanced on my far left, and that's good. I have a nice position there in a 12-pound howitzer. His cav thought it was a good idea to come up and charge. That's great. I can't take the flag. And we have 34 minutes, and I don't want to lose 1 second of it. Yeah, now to get the artillery up. So we have 31 minutes. We've advanced. This is as far as we can advance in this phase. And now I just need to get the artillery up. Hopefully he counterattacks. Yeah, my thinking is, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking this is very much like Longstreet. Get everybody into position, hope the enemy counterattacks. Inflict heavy losses on him, and then push him back, then attack him after he's exhausted his units. So this is a great defensive line. I'm very happy with this. The artillery is now up. Even at this, even 6-pounders at this range will do fine damage. I'm babying the 24-pound howitzers a little bit because unlike the Union campaign where I had about 150 of them, I think. I'm not going to get that many in the Confederate campaign. I can't afford to lose any. You just don't get them. In the Northern campaign, if you lose one, you just get another one. You put them on the front line, they get 2,000 kills, you lose 25 men and a gun, you don't care. because you get 150 of them, and it doesn't matter. In the Southern campaign, every good weapon you have is gold. I mean, it's just precious, and you cannot afford to lose good weapons because you just don't have very many, and there are no replacements. So yeah, and I'm thinking, because I don't know, I've only played this on kernel difficulty through Antietam, there's going to be a shortage of men, because there was, historically, so I have to believe the devs built that in. So I put some points in politics, expecting that as the campaign goes on, I'm going to run out of men. The men are really good, but I'm suspecting I'm not going to get many. So I suspect there's going to be a shortage of everything. Good weapons, raw recruits, everything. And if they wanted to make it really, really historically accurate, they should limit the South to $10,000 per supply wagon. And you can never have more than 4 perks in logistics. So yeah, we're down to 6 minutes. I'm going to fold some of these detached skirmishers back into their parent unit. And this has been just about a perfect phase 1. You're watching this, the few people who are interested in legendary difficulty. This has got to look boring. Well, why would you be surprised? I mean, you've seen my campaigns before in my battles. Yeah, that was exactly what I wanted to do and exactly the way I wanted to do it. It went absolutely better than I could have hoped, and the next phase is also going to go well. So, yeah. Okay, now we're on the other flank. These are the Allied troops. The goal here is get a bunch of guys into the north left corner of the map, well rested, ready to go, so that when the map opens up, we can maneuver around the enemy flank. And Jackson, this happens with Jackson. It also happened in my brigadier, my colonel, not even brigadier general, my colonel campaign. If you give him a command before he comes completely on the map, what happens is he's kind of on the left side. He's on the other map. And I thought that I might lose him here and might not see him again the rest of the battle. But what happens is he's actually just on the other map. He's on the left side. I go ahead and play it, and I have him march down the edge of the map. I can't fight with him here, but I figure if he shows up later, he'll show up on the north edge of the map, and that'll be just fine. I would like to be able to fight with him here, but okay. I can't, you know, I'll just fight with what I have. I have enough. So we have overwhelming numbers. Okay, we have 2 hours and 35 minutes, and there's actually another phase on top of this, and we cannot take any of the flags in either phase. And if we do, the entire plan is completely screwed up. We will not get the encirclement. The only way I get the encirclement is if I don't trip the flags. So I don't know what I would have done if I tripped the flags. Probably reloaded. Yeah, right now I'm dangerously close to tripping the flag. I need for the guys that are blocking my left, I need to route them and then be able to slide everybody as close as I can to the left. And then the other guys are going to shift around to the right, actually, to the right of the flag. So they're going to break around that flag like it's a big rock in the water. I don't want the cav to be engaged in this phase. I need them for the breakout phase. So, yeah, and there's the guy. You can see his marker, but he's actually on the other map. Yeah, he can just keep walking along the edge of the map, I guess. So I have a detached skirmisher over there. As you know, there are 3 oversized units to the right. And so I'm anticipating dealing with those guys. Okay, what to do with these guys? I'm throwing them onto the enemy flank. What the enemy is going to do is he's going to have 3 units that are going to be kind of south of this water, of this river. And I want to drive them back across. And then kind of, again, it's about coverage. I want a solid line of infantry forming a semicircle around the enemy position. But the plan is that several units and detached skirmishers will break through the center of the enemy line and then maneuver around, do a flanking maneuver around, cut off the enemy position, and then the enemy will be completely surrounded. And from that point, artillery at close range and just infantry fire should be able to, if not take these guys completely out, should be able to at least contain them in an absolutely... They're out of the battle. I don't want them to be able to retreat back to Harrison's Landing and participate in the battle. I want them to be totally cut off, out of supply, exhausted, and if not destroyed, out of the battle for all intents and purposes. So being out of the battle is fine, but killing them all is even better. So that's the goal. And we actually almost get them all. One of the things that I do is, well, you'll see is there are a few of them that survive at the very end. And what I'm not used to doing is getting into melee with the enemy. And what I needed to do was just tell all my units to walk forward. They were exhausted, they couldn't charge. But if you tell a unit to walk to the other side of an enemy unit, it'll just walk there, to that point. And by that time I had something like 4 units to every one of his, and I reloaded just to see what would happen, and sure enough, every one of his units shattered or surrendered. There were like 2 or 3 of them left. But basically, things happened exactly the way I wanted. We're going to surround these guys and take them right out of the battle. Yep, and now we have almost secured the edge of the map. But it's also important that I have a couple units that have very high condition that can make the march around the enemy flank. That's also very important. So yeah, he came kind of charging in, and I had my units change direction. And he took flanking fire, so one of his units is flashing white, and I have artillery coming up, which will eventually morale shock these guys and drive them back. He has no chance of staying on this side of the river. And really, he should want to retreat back with the rest of his army. And I gave the victory location enough room that I didn't trip it, or all of this would have been for nothing. So get the artillery up. Would like to take all of the woods. As I'm doing this, I know he has reinforcements coming in because I've played this 50 times as the North. but I don't know where they come in. And they come in a little different than they do in the Union campaign. Yeah, here's the thing that's interesting with artillery. If artillery is on sloped ground, uneven ground, and it's firing, those guys get exhausted really fast. There's some mechanic in the game that does that. So firing on any uneven ground is a bad idea unless you're willing to then lose that artillery unit for some period of time while it recovers condition. I don't know if firing in the woods makes them tired, but definitely firing on uneven ground. I should have, on the far right, there's a unit that's, I want him right up in the face, firing, because he has 42s. Firing at this guy, that's a mistake, because what happens is they get into melee. And you know how I don't have detached skirmishers around this, and I should. It should have occurred to me that he'd get into, I thought he'd just rout. But he gets into melee, and he retreats in the wrong direction, and it's irritating. And yeah, it's one of those things. If I had had detached skirmishers where they should have been, he would have retreated in the right direction, which was back toward the flag. So, yeah, but unfortunately, he gets into melee. So, but I'm paying attention here because his reinforcements come in, and I did not anticipate him being right there. That is not good. Because there's a really good chance he's going to get me into melee right there, too. And his cav is going to be amazingly irritating. Because he's going to get me into melee, and then it's like taking flanking fire if he does. Yep, and he goes in the wrong direction. Yeah, because I did not have detached skirmishers around the line. And of course he pulls everybody into melee. He's going to pull the artillery unit into melee. If I'd had the game saved, you know, in the last hour, which I didn't have the game saved. Always have the game saved for when squirrely stuff like this happens. Yeah, because this is just ridiculous. So what happens is he does, but it's only 6-pounders, and it's an allied unit, so I'm not too worried about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach some skirmishers, and we're going to bottle this guy up in the corner for the rest of the battle. And that's pretty easy. So he's out of the battle effectively. I would have rather have had him retreat back toward the flag so we could kill him, but and I reloaded after I did this, and I found out if I ran my cav down and got him into melee, I would shatter him. But it doesn't really matter. I get as many kills as I can get. Shattering him wouldn't have given me more kills. So a couple of detached skirmishers are going to keep him busy. Unfortunately, my artillery is now exhausted, so we have to stop and rest him until he recovers. And while I wasn't looking, one of my units routed. Where's my commander? I thought my left was in trouble and my center was in trouble, not my left. But we have the wood line, so we're in great shape. Hopefully he does not drive me out of the wood line. And that Union canister is nasty. Yeah, unfortunately he's charging not just with infantry, but with 2 cav. If he gets me in melee with 2 units, he's going to break that unit. So fortunately the cav just wanted to roll up and give a shot, and fortunately it looks like somebody fired at the detached skirmisher that I sent forward, and not the infantry. So yeah, we got a break there. Bet he's charging in again, and I can't really fall back that far because my artillery is too close. Yeah, he's got the high ground and he's pushing me out of the woods. So unfortunately, I have to attack with from the low ground with infantry to hit him in the flank. I really don't want to do that because that's way too close to the victory location. And we have 58 minutes, and I don't want to trip that thing early. Yeah, this is a very near thing. One side or the other is going to break. Yeah, and unfortunately, my army is exhausted. And fortunately, some of his units are starting to rout. So my army held, and I have enough units that have condition that we should be okay. Yeah, his flank has collapsed, and we can roll up his flank, and hopefully... Yeah, I have units now in position. Would like to have more of the artillery up, but I really need to not trip the flag also. And I'm real close to that flag. If nothing else, there are a bunch of units that I have right now that need to recover condition before the next phase. And 37 minutes of rest is exactly what some of these units need to be able to get back to 100% condition so that they're functional in the next phase. So I'm starting to pull units out of the line and get them in position, and I'm going to have to depend on detached skirmishers. But yeah, notice the large unit that I'm pulling out of the line. Boy, those big units are just ineffective. They're so cumbersome to move. Yeah, I'd like to get him to the north, if he would get there, and get 100% condition. And he's going to be one of my maneuver units. My cav unit is there ready to go. And we're getting ready for when the map opens up. So those guys are going to hold that guy in the corner up all day. Okay, so one of his units routed. That's very good. The supply wagon is empty, and that is a serious problem. And I'm really close to the victory location. Yeah, this is actually very good. He's now in the open. He thinks he's going to charge, but I now have the artillery up. This is not going to go well for him. And I don't mind that guy retreating a bit. Yeah, I do mind that attack on the far right, because that guy's way faster than my unit. And he's charging downhill. And that unit's all by its lonesome. I don't even have a detached skirmisher there. So I'm going to charge him, hopefully get a charge bonus. Get the commander over there. That should have had him move just a little bit faster. Get the commander over there, and hopefully... Actually had some artillery fire over there. Breckenridge is too far away. That was a mistake. I had Breckenridge get out of what I thought was the limit of the Union unit, but he was too far away to give support to the unit, and so the unit routed. That was bad. So these guys I need to put on hold so that they stay in position because they want to bounce around and exhaust themselves, which they will do. So fortunately, the Union unit thinks it's a good idea to walk back for some reason in the opposite direction rather than to continue to chase my battered and defeated infantry unit. So that's good. It's going to take forever for my infantry unit to remaneuver and get around to the, get some port to that battered unit. Okay, so we've driven him back. We're in good shape. I wish I had more units in position to do the maneuver. We only have 6 minutes in game. Get this infantry unit moving. Yeah, we'll just keep doing this to this guy. I need to put them on hold. So my unit that routed has recovered, but he's exhausted, so he needs to rest for a while. And okay, we're back over to the other flank. My units over here are looking really good. Haven't taken many losses. My units are, you know, they started at 11 or 1200 and they're at 1100. And I'm taking a look at the losses and they're just not very large, which is what I want. I want this to just be a long bit of a grindy thing with my guys in cover. Did he just pop out of visibility? That was cool. So yeah, I do not want to take the church. Yeah, I want him to get out of the woods. Yeah, he might have 42s. And I think he has palmettos. Palmettos are good for me because most of my experienced troops have rifles. So I know he has a lot of palmettos. He probably has a lot of 42s. I don't know if he gives me Lorenz's. But, yeah. And I certainly don't want him to stand in the woods. I want him to come out of the woods and stand in the open, and I'm going to start maneuvering this guy through that horrible swamp. And hopefully get on his flank, and he delivers a volley. Or that might be the M&Gs. Might be. Yeah, the M&Gs delivered a volley, and that 2-star unit routed. So, nice. 46 minutes, and we don't want to take the flag. I have plenty of ammo, the artillery's in position. If I can just extend the flank. Oh good, the cab is attacking. Nice. And notice that a unit that's 2200 showed up in the woods. That is the unit that didn't come into the map. I mean, he showed up, but I gave him a movement command and he wouldn't come onto the map. He stayed on the other side of the map, and he showed up here. So, yep, he's now on this side of the map. And he's a really flexible unit. You cannot believe how agile this guy is. He goes from one side of the map to the other side of the map, back to the right side of the map. Just an amazing unit. He's like got teleportation powers. So, yeah, we've now pushed the enemy back far enough. We can go around the flag without tripping it for the next 34, 35 minutes. And Mr. Oversized Unit is going to be very happy to go up to the Union Oversized Unit and just stand there with his 42s and, yeah, fight him. Let's get the artillery up. Yeah, my units are all in good cover, and we're getting the artillery up. Is this the most boring version of the Battle of Shiloh that anyone has ever seen? I mean, it's just roll the artillery up, roll the infantry up, or roll the artillery up. Now, his infantry unit looks to me like it's flashing a little bit white, like it's a little morale shocked. Like it's unhappy. So I'm going to roll up some infantry in support and get this guy into melee with 2 units. And, oh, my infantry in support should be closer. They're a little bit far. So I'm going to have 2 units charge on 1. That's going to win the fight. My infantry in support should be able to fire into it. That's going to guarantee victory. Yep, my guys lose almost nothing. He gets crushed. Hopefully he retreats a very, very long way. But not so far that I can't run him down and kill him later. Yeah. Oh, and I lost 2 officers. So I think that's Jackson. It's a little blurry, but he's just a big damn hero, man. He just broke the enemy line and then destroyed an artillery unit. Yeah, and his heroics are not done. He's going to be a big damn hero in a little bit later, coming up. So 13 minutes in this phase. This has gone amazingly well. We still have not tripped the victory location, which I don't want to do. I want to get as far north as possible in the next 11 minutes to be in position to do the massive maneuver through to the right. So that's what we want to do. Hey, look, it's 92 cav. Let's kill them. And dead. Yeah, I'm about to completely forget about my supply wagon. Just absolutely embarrassing. So yeah, everybody go as far north as you can. So we've stacked the north flank with about 5 units. And these units that I'm ordering now, their job is to get around the flank of the enemy. I don't want to push into those woods. I want to go around the enemy flank and surround them. And then press on all sides. So that's going really well. Okay, this opens up. I don't care about the flag. What I care about is surrounding the enemy. Okay, you guys just keep firing at that guy. I could have been in a better position, to be honest. This was not the best possible, but it's going to work. The cav is going to run down to the end of the map. The detached skirmishers are going to go down there. Fortunately, I have a unit that crossed over to this side of the map, which is going to be very handy. So there's a memo. If you put units to the edge of the map, they will come in on this side of the map. And then you put them on the edge of the map going back the other way. For the next phase, they'll show up on that side of the map, and they'll fight in both phases, which should be impossible, but time travel. Oh, look, there's a cav unit in the open. Yeah, supply is about to become an issue on this side of the map. Wow, this infantry is not doing well. Probably because it's oversized. Okay, all we need to do is take the wood line and he'll be corralled. And then we just need to secure the south edge. We're about to grab his supply wagon, which will be pretty much empty and useless. So supplies are captured and it's empty. So great. So if you saw my Union campaign, I drew up a defensive line right at the water. There's a river line right there. That's a great defensive line. My goal is to set up a line there so that if he tries to move north, we have the advantage of water. Also, he'll slow down when he enters the water, and we'll also have cover. So that's the goal. I have a whole bunch of guys that have kind of cleared the center of the map, and now we're going to loop around and take up a defensive position there. And as long as the enemy does not run as fast as he can out of this little pocket we're creating, we should be able to bag the lot of them. So it's going to be move up the infantry, move up the artillery in close support, blast away at them for a while. This guy was hidden, so now we see him. No, we don't want to get into melee. Just... these guys are exhausted. There's no way they'd win. Just keep morale shocking this guy. And my cav, just the right place. He thought he was going to charge my 750 cav unit with his 81, and that's not going to go well. Okay, now the map opens up. All right, now I have lots of guys who are in position to advance on the landing, but again, my goal is not to take the landing. When I did this, my goal was to take the clump of woods to the left of the landing, but the landing just fell. So yeah, it has a huge, huge area that that is the victory ownership thing for the South. So yeah. So in defense, I want the 24-pound howitzer and the Tritiger. The other two artillery units can stay back in the encirclement and work on killing the enemy, and that works just perfectly. I mean, they just continue to degrade enemy morale, and it just works great. We have 5 artillery here with this encirclement, and they just do a great job. Once these guys start flashing white, they're pretty much done. I don't really care very much about having my allied troops get out of the line and rest, but probably that would have been a good idea. Detach skirmishers and have the infantry fall back and recover condition and then get back on the line. Problem is, they're out of ammo, and when you're reloading, you burn condition. And these guys, being out of ammo, were always going to take 3 times longer to reload, and they were always going to burn through their condition. So there really was no way around it. The only thing I could have done, which in hindsight would not have been a bad idea, would have been to send my ammo wagon over there. And that would have worked. The captured supply wagon is empty. In fact, it's empty right now. It's flashing empty. But but my wagon still is pretty much full. And since I don't use it very well because I forget where it is, it would have been a good thing if I had just sent it over to the Allied units, and they would have been more effective. Also, they wouldn't have gotten as tired. I could have rotated units out of the line and recovered condition. This would have been more effective. I mean, it works, as you're about to see. I mean, it works. But it would have been more effective. And I guess from a metagaming point of view, you want your Allied units to take losses. I'm not going to throw them away, but I am going to have them fight. And the fact that they take more losses is oddly to your benefit in this game. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but that's how it works. Okay, his ironclads are no joke. Those guys hit really hard, and you don't want to go too far. You don't want to get too close to them. So, yeah, you only do that like one time, and you realize that's bad. So this is a nice flanking maneuver. I have my 2 artillery, I have my infantry. My lead unit came from my allies and drifted over to my side of the map, and he has been a big damn hero the whole time. And he continues to be a big hero, leading the way. What is that guy doing? I don't know. So yeah, these guys are getting completely hammered, and just keep pushing the artillery up and let them keep working on these guys. They're in the woods, but they're not going to last real long. I need my guys to kill all of these guys on the left, and not just because we want the kills, but my guys need the XP as well. So if you've played this, you know that these guys have a, and I got this from watching other people play, they tend to route south. So yeah, along the water edge, and then you have to chase them, and I want to avoid that. So I'm going to have plenty of units to the south so that he never decides to run that way. And I don't want to push him too hard so that he decides to run. So try to stay at the limit of rifle range of the firing arc and just slowly kill them. Yep, everybody's moving north. Yeah, and I had one unit move to the right to reinforce the cutoff, the encirclement. And it turns out I really do need 2 units there. So he's moving really slow. But yeah, 2 units there turned out to be the right number. The 12-pound howitzer does not get a lot of kills, but it seems to have a really strong effect on enemy morale. Okay, so we've maneuvered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the north of the enemy position, and he surprises me by having someone there. So we need to drive him south. And we have taken the woods. And that's what we want. We now have part of the position. And my goal is, he has reinforcements that come in at the end, both east and west. So nothing to the north, but east and west. And when he attacks, he'll come in my left, and he'll come in there first, I think. And we want to crush that and drive it into the corner and kill it. And then he has troops come in on the right, and we want to just drive them back because we can't really push them too close because of the ironclads, but we want to inflict damage on them. And look at that. Our big damn hero unit, without even trying, took the landing. He's a hero. He can't help it. Heroes are heroes, and he does what heroes do. He just took the victory location. So I just want to go out and take some shots on his artillery, maybe fall back is what I'm thinking at this point, but I just can't give the victory location back. Like, I'm even thinking at this point, I'll give it back. I'll just fall back and let him retake it. And just, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And it's just as well. I mean, everything works out. So we continue to push on this guy, and his units are all flashing white, and yeah, we're gonna kill him. And everyone racks up a ton of XP because of this exercise. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10,000 in there. So it's 10,000 kills that we're just going to rack up. And very soon they're going to be pretty much defenseless. And it's just going to be harvesting XP. So my units on that side get a huge kill ratio. These guys on the right, the allied units, they had to do a lot of heavy fighting. They do not have a high kill ratio. But they get a lot of kills. So the enemy has 65,000 men, and we get almost 40,000. So, yeah, that's a lot of kills. Okay, he's starting the retreat south thing that we want to avoid. You know, I'd like to keep that allied unit in my army. That would be a named unit. Absolutely the hero of Shiloh. Okay, one of the things that happens on many of these maps is you get to the edge, and there's a weird thing, line of sight or something, where units that are really far away from you are able to get into melee. And I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but it's a thing, and it happens on the edge of maps. And it happens here. I'm able to get out of melee, but yeah, it can be a real problem. Because, as you know, like that unit right there is 1,300. And it's not like you get into melee with him and he routs and then he dies. He gets into melee with you and he fights to the death and he kills 1,000 of your men. So, yeah, it's a real problem. And right there in the corner, there's one of those things. But there's a battle coming up where it's a really big problem. Yeah, we're just racking up kills. Well, my allied unit's racking up kills. Yeah, and we don't... I have too many units here, so start to maneuver some of them into places where they're going to be more useful. And I need 2 units to leave the line, and I've been resting one of these units. Where is he? I need to find 2 units, and they need to start moving north. because I need coverage on the right side of the line because he's going to counterattack to the right. So look, he has my unit in melee. Nice. So, detached skirmisher, your job is to convince him he needs to go someplace else. Yeah, I should really put these guys on hold. Yeah, I actually have a supply wagon right next to these guys that I could move over to resupply them, and I don't think of it. I can't believe I did that. So otherwise, other than that, a pretty straightforward battle. Those guys are cut off and dying. Okay, here comes his counterattack. These guys here can easily wipe these guys out. And these guys are doing a fine job. Just keep chipping away, keep moving the artillery up. Here he comes, and Tredegar's 24-pound howitzers, my best infantry online, firing volleys into him. Yep, looks pretty hopeless. Looks hopeless to me. Okay, he has one unit that's trying to get out of the circle. You can't get out of the circle. Okay, send the cav in to the charge, and let's see how they do. Should be 2-on-1. Yep, and he's dead. Okay, he did not make it out of there. And another infantry unit is trying to get away. And I can't just hit him with another cav charge. He won't do it. He has to recharge. Recharge the charge meter. Yep, those guys on the left are dying. They're completely done. This guy, I still can't charge this guy. But I can shoot him. We can do that. Come on, shoot him. Oh, we can charge. Okay. We'll kill a bunch of them. These guys are doing fine. Killing these guys, they're down to almost nothing. And I should just have them, like, march forward. These guys killed these guys in this pocket. This pocket's wiped out. Yeah. And 56 minutes to go. And I think I actually find my supply wagon. So, but the units that needed it are not going to fight anymore. So I have my units advance to this wood line. And I want to get the Union left to advance and fight it some more because they're 10,000 to kill. Okay, his unit has gotten too close to that ironclad. There is no point in... Yeah, see, that's not good. Okay, basically there are only two fights. The reinforcements counterattack that came out on the left, my left, and the counterattack on the right. I cannot push the guys on the right too hard. The ironclads are there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up 2 allied units and an allied artillery. Yeah, and there's another one of those melee glitches. So yeah, get out of that. Yeah, pathing is a problem in this game. Always has been. And we're going to sit on the other side of the water and just shoot into these guys. Stay out of melee. There's too many of them. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 units firing into 4 for the next 42 minutes. And this is only going to go one way. He's flashing white, routing. Yeah, he's going to die. So, yeah, I've taken up, moved everybody to the right. There's a nice defensive position. I can't really go past this. Yeah, I can't really do it. Having units on the right side move north to take up a defensive position because he always counterattacks. And I'd like to meet that and inflict some damage on him. Yeah, here comes some more infantry on the left. They're totally not needed, but some guys, particularly the artillery, can get some kills. So yeah, they're now so many of them, they're in each other's way. They need to start moving to the right because there's no space. Okay, 2 units, not a huge surprise, are going to attack. So I'm going to have a couple of units move to my right. Well, they're moving south, as you'll see. Okay, the artillery's in place. I have 1 infantry in place. We got there before he did. That's good. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any ammo. His condition is not great. Yeah, everybody's moving north. So almost the entire army is north. But we have... the enemy units that are behind us are surrounded and being wiped out. So 24-pound howitzer about to give flanking fire into the enemy. Yeah, there's no room for all you guys. We don't have any room. Go someplace else. So the second unit came up pretty much just in time. I have some more units that are moving north from the right flank because I don't need them. There's only a tiny number of enemy that's still alive. And they're in the swamp, so... And I decided not to go after them. I should just have everybody walk forward. Like I said, I reloaded this and just had them walk forward, and the guys just shattered. My cav unit, which I have him resting somewhere just in case I need him, he could have gone down and killed the... But like I said, he just shatters the unit, so you don't get really anything for that. The only thing I'm going to get is if the number of kills. So shattered units don't give you anything in this. So they're harvesting kills, which is about all you're going to get. And my big damn hero unit steps up and delivers the volley of fire that breaks the counterattack. Well, that in the 24-pound howitzers. These guys over here, they're just being killed. Be nice if I had some ammo. That would be nice. They're not out yet, but they're about to be. And there he goes. Fires a big volley. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to that magnificent unit. The hero of the Battle of Shiloh. Yeah, I'm having these guys walk forward, but it's actually just to fire. I should have had them move forward like 40 minutes ago. because they're exhausted, and it would take them 40 minutes to get there through the swamp. Yeah, the enemy runs away. Yeah, see my commander there? Yeah, completely in the wrong place. Completely amateurish play. But this is the Battle of Shiloh, and if anyone could make the Battle of Shiloh boring, I can do it. So, yeah, completely just walked right over top of the enemy, and it's over. You don't get to go on. It ends automatically. And he lost about 40,000, and I lost about 10, less medicine, I don't know. I came in with 42 or 3,000, which is a lot. This guy got 2,600 kills and lost 75. Who is this guy with 41s? Let's see, 2,000 kills and lost 195. M&Gs, almost 2,000 kills. Irish Brigade, almost 2,000. And 41s, almost, no, he got 1,500. M&Gs, 1,500. Lorenz, 1,400, and only lost 160. So my guys had a great day, absolutely great day. And all these losses are going to be replaced for free, except, you know, you have to buy weapons sometimes. 6-pounder got 700. Yeah, that's amazing. 12 howitzer got 600. Not bad. And the Stonewall Brigade was the reserve unit throughout most of the battle. He only got 500 kills because I had him in reserve, which was a mistake. I should have had him fighting. But yeah, he was in reserve almost the entire battle. Ready to make the move at the decisive moment. I have no idea. Goods. Let's see, anything good? Nope, nothing good. A bunch of palmettos and 42s. Yeah. Well, it's bodies. I mean, I can build ballast units with that. That's great. Forest, 300 men. So, and I get Albert Johnson, and yeah, that's great. $130,000, 11,000 men. My units, ideal size is 1,200, and they're not far from that. I have no interest in having melee cav. I'm thinking right at this moment of rifle cav, but no, just no. There's no reason to have a 3-star rifle cav. There's no reason to have a 3-star. I don't think there's any reason to have a melee cav in the end game. I think it's a waste. So, well, I've never had any luck with it. Other people have had better luck. And let's see. 45 to 50. 45 to 50. Yeah. Okay. 45 is about the basement bottom. And yeah, I want to get yes, reconnaissance to 2. My plan all along was I could get through Shiloh without 2 perks in recon, but now I need, yes, thank you very much, I need 2 perks. So, we thank you, General Spears. You did a great job. You got your 2 stars. You were a great Corps commander, but now we have a better one. And General Spears is going to probably go to 2nd Corps eventually, I guess. So, yeah, very happy with that. We're in great shape, and I'll see you in camp.